feelings come in, that's where it gets tough.
Yeah.
Action's done.
And when Rod says he has feelings, okay,
Not very often.
big.
Rod, when in doubt, just throw insults.
Yeah.
They work. It's surprisingly well. I mean,
It's your turn. Oh, I'll take some of that.
Catch my breath. I was running pretty fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go up there and your seat.
All right, so I have 3 quick stories. That makes me nervous. That I want to share, Dad, of things that you did for me that were very loving and selfless of you. So I just want to, share my thoughts in the form of 3 true stories. So I'll start with the oldest one first. So the first one was when I was in college, and I got a scholarship to play tennis for Utah State, but I had to finish 2 classes to be eligible. And so it was during the summer, so I was taking 2 summer school classes, and I was doing an internship at Boeing. I was working 40 hours a week. And I was keeping up with one class. I was keeping up with both the classes, but for the final project of one class, I had to read a book. It was like 200 or 300 pages about Brigham Young. Remember this?
Yeah.
And then I had to write it like a 10-page essay about the book. So I came to Dad, and I was just kind of like, Dad, I'm pretty overwhelmed. I don't know how I can do all this. And he's all, well, let me see the book. Like, I showed it to him and told him about the essay I had to write. And he's all, well, why don't I take that off your plate? I'm like, you're gonna read the whole book and write a 10-page essay? And he's like, sure. I'm kind of like doing stuff like that. So he did it. Remember this? What was the book called?
Brigham Young, Empire Builder.
Okay, Brigham Young Empire Builder.
Okay.
Okay, so he wrote the paper, turned it in, got an A. He got an A in the class. So that was a big time commitment that got me out of a jam. I mean, and I wasn't being lazy. I was working really hard. I had just reached my limit and I didn't know what else to do. And so I came to Dad and he stepped in and kind of saved the day. Then another story, maybe 7 years ago or something. So Heather was out of town and I was at home, and I don't get sick very often, once every 10 years or something I'll get sick and it'll be really bad. So it just happened to be this time when I was all alone. And I was so sick, I remember I couldn't have any light in my eyes and I was throwing up. And so it makes it hard to get to the bathroom. So I remember one time when I hit rock bottom, so I couldn't open my eyes. And I was crawling from my bed to the toilet. I was feeling around for things, dry heaving and sweating. And I made it to the toilet and threw up and then just laid on the cold tile. And finally I just found my phone and I'm just Dad, I need a blessing. And so Dad came over and I think I was able to sit up in bed, and he put his hands on my head, and through the power of the priesthood and calling upon the grace of Jesus Christ, he blessed me. And I was so desperate, I guess my faith was very strong. But I immediately felt a surge of power, kind of like that woman, who grabbed Jesus's robe, and she just had faith and she was healed. So I had been in so much pain and it went away so quickly. It was just so startling that I just started crying. It was like a 35-year-old man, and I was crying in my bed because it was such a relief, and I had just experienced a miracle. And so that was another time when I had done everything I could. I took my medicine and was trying to get rest, but it just wasn't enough. So I called upon Dad, and he was there and saved the day in that situation again. So thank you for that. All right, and my final story. You know what this is?
The stump.
It is. It's a stump, so that's for you.
Oh, wow.
You can put it on your desk or you can throw it away. It's up to you.
Priceless. I may have it bronzed.
So, this is very recent. Last week, there's a bush in my yard that was right up against the fence, and I need to get it out so I can build some irrigation berms. And so I cut the bush down, and to my surprise, there's like a tree stump that this bush like grew out of somehow.
Like this.
Some like weird cross-pollination like thing happened. So so I dug all around it. Jonah was helping me. He was 20 minutes later, he was gone. So I was just out there. I heard him playing the drums or something. And he's like, you know what, it's probably more work to try to get him out here than to just do it myself. So I dug like foot and a half deep, like all around this stump, and I was like cutting all the roots all the way around, and it just wouldn't even budge. So it pretty much got to the point where like you had to like hit it with a axe or something. And as you guys know, because of my elbow surgery, like I can't like hit things. So I was just like, dang, wish I do. And so I just called up Dad and then asked him if he could just do like some wax for me, and you know, together I'll dig and he can whack, and together I think we can get it out. So he's like, okay, I'll be there. And I had irrigation coming in like 3 days. So he's like, I'll be there before your irrigation. So on the day of Heather's surgery, we're like getting into the car pretty much, and I hear the doorbell ring, and it's Dad, and he's got like his shade hat, and he's ready to work, and he's got all the tools, and he's like, all right, let's do this. And I was like, oh, Dad, like I'm sorry, I wanted to do it with you, but I gotta take Heather to her surgery. And so I showed him the stump, and he's all right, I'll do my best. And so I just left, and it was a pretty hot day. I mean, he came early, but it was getting hot quick.
And I brought my chainsaw.
True, yeah. And he had his water bottle. So, you know, like 2 hours later at the hospital, like I text Mom and I'm like, did Dad come home yet? Because he was like digging out a stump and he's almost 80. So like, I appreciate it, but I'm a little nervous. And so, and then Mom texted me back and she's like, he's home, and he said he got it out. And he was all excited to tell me the story of the stump, because every stump has a story, right? Because they just put up such a fight.
Yeah.
So he got it out, and we got it all taken care of. So that was pretty amazing. So this is a piece of the root that we got out here as a momentum. And I just thought it was kind of symbolic that, like, you know, Dad's kind of stubborn, like a root, right? It's a little twisted and gnarly, but it serves a purpose. This is not my main theme, by the way. So, but Dad has deep roots in the gospel, right? And he's rock solid. And I know that, like the redwood trees, as we kind of connect our roots to him, that we can all be stronger as a family. So I guess my main theme, Dad, is, you know, thank you for being there when I needed help and it was something that I couldn't do by myself. You've always been there for me in those moments. So I love you and happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
Good physical reputation.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Love you.